Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to pull out the key knowledge you need to be truly well-informed. Today we're tackling something huge. It's a question for anyone dreaming of their own venture, or maybe you're already in it. Why do so many small businesses seem to struggle? And what's the secret to building one that actually thrives? Our source material for this is, well, it's a giant in the business world. Michael E. Gerber's The E-Myth Revisited came out back in '95, but still incredibly relevant. So, our mission today, we want to extract the core ideas, maybe some surprising insights, and definitely the actionable stuff from this book. Stuff that can genuinely change how you think about earning a business. Whether you're freelancing, thinking about starting, or, deep in the daily grind already, this one's for you. Okay, so let's unpack Gerber's big idea right at the start. He kicks things off with what he calls the entrepreneurial myth. And it's kind of a mind-bender, actually, because he basically argues that the common belief that people starting small businesses are entrepreneurs is often wrong. He says more often than not, they're really skilled technicians, people good at the doing.
And they have what he calls an entrepreneurial seizure. They think, hey, I'm great at this skill, so I can run a business doing it. Simple idea, but wow, it has layers, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It really sets the stage for everything else. Because, the core reason most small businesses fail, according to Gerber, it's not lack of hard work, not lack of passion. It's because the owners work in the business doing the technical work instead of working on the business. Think about Sarah, the pie maker example he uses throughout the book. She makes amazing pies, right? A real expert technician. But being brilliant at baking pies, well, that doesn't automatically make her brilliant at marketing or managing money or hiring people or building a system for selling those pies. She gets totally bogged down in the making of the pies and the actual business of pies. That suffers. So if you're listening and you're a freelancer or a creative, someone who just loves your craft, but you feel swamped by the business stuff, the admin, the marketing, this idea can be incredibly liberating. It's maybe not about your skill level, it's about the approach.
That's a really key distinction, working in versus on. So, okay, if that's the trap, getting stuck as the technician, how do we start to get out of it? Does Gerber give us a way to understand why we fall into that trap?
He does, and it's, I think, quite insightful. He says every business owner, whether they know it or not, is juggling 3 different personalities or roles. And these roles are usually kind of fighting each other inside us, competing for our time and attention. So first you've got the technician. That's the part that loves doing the actual work, baking, coding, designing, whatever your craft is. That's the comfort zone for most. Then there's the manager. This one's all about systems, processes, order. Loves a good checklist, wants things smooth, efficient, predictable. And finally, the entrepreneur. This is the visionary, the dreamer, the big picture person, always looking ahead, thinking about growth, innovation, asking what's next. Now, Gerber's big point is most people starting out, they lean way too heavily on the technician. They love the craft. They're good at it. They think that's the whole game. But by ignoring the manager and the entrepreneur, well, they get trapped. Burnout happens. The business just can't grow or sustain itself. It's like trying to play football with just a star quarterback. No plan, no team structure. It doesn't work.
Yeah, that really makes you stop and think. I mean, I can definitely see myself falling into that technician mode sometimes. It prompts that self-reflection, doesn't it? Which one do you lean on most? Yeah. And maybe more importantly, which ones are you neglecting? Makes you wonder how much potential gets lost just because people haven't balanced those roles. Okay, so if the core problem is working in it, not on it, what's the solution look like? How do you build something sustainable? You mentioned Gerber talks about a turnkey revolution or franchise thinking. What's that about?
Right. This is the core solution he offers, and it's powerful. The idea is design your business as if you were going to franchise it. Now, hold on. Even if you have zero intention of actually franchising, that's not the point. The point is the mindset shift. It forces you away from being the doer to becoming the designer of the business system. You're not just building a skill, you're building an asset, something that can eventually run without you. It forces you to systematize everything. Think of it as building a machine, a repeatable process, instead of just relying on your own, personal heroics day in and day out. The classic analogy he uses is McDonald's. Now, nobody argues they make the best gourmet burgers, right? Probably not. But what they have is arguably the best system. Every single step is documented, standardized, replicable, from cooking fries to greeting customers. And that leads to consistency, scalability, predictability. So back to Sarah the pie maker. If she adopted this franchise mindset, she'd be writing down her recipes, sure, but also her ordering process, her customer service steps, how she tracks inventory. Not just so she could open another shop, maybe, but so her first shop runs smoothly even when she's not physically there rolling dough.
That McDonald's example definitely drives home the consistency point. But I can hear someone thinking, okay, but my business isn't fast food. My craft needs that personal touch, that artistry. Doesn't systematize and kill that. Does Gerber address that tension between, systems and genuine creativity or bespoke work?
That's a really common and valid question. And Gerber's perspective, interestingly, is that systems actually enable artistry. They free it up. Think about it. When all the mundane, repetitive tasks are handled by a system, when the invoicing, the scheduling, the basic customer follow-up just happens, then the artist, the technician, actually has more mental energy, more time to focus on the truly creative parts, the innovation, the craft refinement, the things that can't be easily systematized. It's about building a solid structure around your genius so it can actually flourish instead of getting drowned in the day-to-day chaos. The goal is a business that runs consistently without you having to be involved in every single detail, every single moment. That's what frees you up to actually lead it.
Okay, that makes sense. It's about creating the space for the high-value work. So how do we actually do this? How do we build this system-driven business? Gerber lays out a pretty practical roadmap, right? A 7-step process.
Exactly. He calls it the business development process. And yeah, it's a step-by-step blueprint to move from that reactive chaos to, well, proactive control. Step 1 is primary aim. This is crucial. It's not about business goals yet. It's about your personal goals. What do you want your life to look like? Seriously, 5 years, 10 years out. Your business needs to serve that life vision, not the other way around.
Okay, starting with the personal why. Makes sense. What's next?
Second, strategic objective. Now we get to the business. Define what it will actually be. What will it look like when it's done or mature? Size, scope, niche. What's the concrete target you're building towards?
So a clear destination for the business itself.
Got it. Third, organizational strategy. This is about structure. Design the roles and an org chart before you necessarily hire people. Even if you're solo right now, think about the future roles. Who handles sales, marketing, ops, finance? Define the positions. Even if you wear all the hats for now, you're building a structure, not just a job for yourself.
Planning the structure before the people.
Interesting.
Okay.
Fourth, management strategy. This is where the systems really come in. Create clear, documented processes for, well, pretty much everything. How do you onboard a client? How do you handle inquiries? How do you produce your product or service consistently? Write it down. That ensures quality and efficiency.
Documenting the how. Okay. Number 5.
Fifth is people strategy. When you do hire, the focus is on training people to follow the systems you've built. Consistency comes from the process, not from individual genius or improvisation. So effective training on those systems is key.
Train to the system. Right.
Sixth, marketing strategy. This is about deeply understanding your customer, focusing on their perceived needs, their desires, their problems, not just what you think they need. Then craft your message and offerings to meet them where they are.
Customer-focused marketing. Makes sense. And a last one.
Seventh is system strategy. This isn't really a final step, it's more ongoing. It's the continuous process of automating, documenting, refining, and improving all your other systems. It's a loop. What's really powerful is seeing how these steps build on each other. They give you that path from just doing the work to actually designing the business, from chaos to control.
It's definitely a comprehensive framework. And Gerber also talks about the life cycle businesses go through and how easy it is to get stuck, right? He mentions infancy, that's when the owner, the technician does everything, total dependence. Then adolescence. This is where you start hiring help, maybe. But you don't have the systems yet, so it becomes chaotic. Growing pains, basically. And the goal is maturity. Where the business is system-driven, it can run without the owner's constant hands-on involvement. And his warning is that so many businesses just get stuck in infancy or that chaotic adolescent phase. They never make it to maturity. A clear warning, but also kind of points the way forward if you follow the steps.
Absolutely. And I think what makes the book resonate so much, what makes the EMyth Revisited stand out after all these years, it's that mix of really practical, structured advice with relatable storytelling. You know, Sarah the pie maker keeps popping up. It digs into the owner's mindset, the psychology. That makes it hit home for so many freelancers, solo operators, small teams who feel like, yeah, that's me. The strengths are pretty clear. It gives you a framework. The advice feels actionable, like things you could actually start doing. And that focus on systems over just, hustling harder is key. Plus, it's written simply, easy to grasp. Now, is it perfect for every single situation? Maybe not. Some find it a bit repetitive. Maybe it's less directly applicable to, say, a huge corporation or a super agile tech startup where rigid systems might feel constraining initially. But for that core audience, the small business owner, the person trying to build something sustainable from their craft, it's often a game changer.
So let's bring it all together. The big takeaway from the EMyth Revisited seemed to be this. Real entrepreneurship isn't just about having a great skill or a clever idea. It's more about building a machine, a system, that creates and delivers value reliably, consistently, and crucially, independent of you having to do it all the time. And some of those quotes just stick with you, don't they? Like, your business is nothing more than a distinct reflection of who you are. That makes you pause. And the big one, the one that feels like a punch to the gut for so many owners. If your business depends on you, you don't own a business, you own a job.
Yeah, that one lands every time because it rings true for so many people who feel trapped. And really, this whole deep dive, this whole EMyth concept, it points back to that primary aim we talked about. The ultimate goal isn't just a successful business in isolation, it's achieving what you want for your life. Designing a business that serves your life, it's fundamentally a roadmap towards freedom. Freedom from overwhelm. Freedom from being chained to the technician role.
So here's a final thought to leave you with, something to mull over. If you feel right now like you own more of a job than a business, what's just one small system? Just one thing you do regularly? What's one small system you could start to design or document, maybe just this week? Think about that first step you could take on a journey towards business maturity and maybe a bit more independence.